What if the coins rattling in your pocket right now hold secrets worth thousands? What if the Washington quarter, the lonely dime, the simple nickel, the half-dollar, the humble Lincoln penny, or that shiny $1 coin could tell the entire story of American history? Hidden under your nose for decades today, we reveal how these 6 rare coins became treasures, unlocking the untold journey of everyday American money that turned ordinary coins into priceless collectors' dreams, American history craftsmanship, and hidden stories that many overlook when they hold it in their hands. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage since 1932, when it was first introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The obverse features the iconic left-facing portrait of Washington designed by John Flanagan, a renowned sculptor and engraver whose design was selected from a national competition. His rendering of Washington was based on a bust created by the famous French sculptor Jean-Antoine Houdon, which was widely regarded as one of the most accurate likenesses of the first president. When the 1985 Washington quarter rolled off the presses at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco Mints, it entered circulation during a fascinating time in American economic history. The early 1980s were marked by a recovering economy following a period of high inflation, unemployment, and interest rates under President Ronald Reagan's administration. The nation was experiencing a shift toward economic growth and renewal. The 1985 quarter reflects the national mood of optimism, technological progress, and the enduring strength of American institutions. To fully understand the significance of the 1985 Washington quarter, we need to explore the evolution of the coin from its early days in the 1930s through the silver years and the transition to copper-nickel clad compositions in 1965 as silver prices skyrocketed and the demand for circulating coins increased. Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1965, which authorized the removal of silver from quarters and dimes, introducing the copper-nickel clad coins that remain in use today. The 1985 quarter is part of this post-silver era, made from a copper core, sandwich it between 2 layers of copper-nickel alloy, giving it durability and resistance to wear. What makes the 1985 quarter particularly interesting for collectors and historians is not just its design, but the context of its production. Over 775 million quarters were minted that year in Philadelphia and over 500 million in Denver, making it a common circulation coin. But collectors know that rarity is not the only factor that determines a coin's value. Conditions, strike clarity, mint errors, and provenance all contribute to its desirability. Looking closer at the minting process, we find that the dies used to strike these coins were subject to wear and polishing over time, creating varieties that collectors seek. For example, strong strikes with full details on Washington's hair and the eagle, as feathers command higher interest, whereas weak strikes or coins with die fatigue are less desirable. Furthermore, the San Francisco Mint produced proof versions of the 1985 quarter specifically for collectors. These proof coins, struck on polished plankets with specially prepared dies, exhibit mirror-like fields and frosted devices, providing a stunning contrast and showcasing the artistry of the engravers. The Washington quarter itself is rich with symbolism. The obverse featuring Washington's portrait conveys strength, dignity, and leadership. The reverse design, which remained until the state quarters program began in 1999, displays a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows and olive branches, symbolizing America's readiness for defense and its desire for peace. The inscriptions "United States of America quarter, dollar ante pluribus unum," meaning out of many one, encapsulate the ideals of unity and national identity. Beyond the physical design, the 1985 Washington quarter also serves as a window into the cultural and political atmosphere of its time. America was engaged in the Cold War, a tense geopolitical struggle with the Soviet Union. The nation was also experiencing a cultural renaissance with the rise of new technologies like personal computers and the expansion of cable television and mass media. In this context, The quarter circulating through the hands of millions was not just small change, but a quiet symbol of American life resilience and progress. For collectors who specialize in Washington quarters, understanding the subtle differences between Mintmark's die varieties and grades is essential. The Philadelphia coins bear no Mintmark, while Denver coins carry a small D on the obverse near Washington's ponytail. The San Francisco proofs are marked with an S. Collectors examine these details under magnification to spot double dies, repunched mintmarks, and other anomalies that can significantly increase a coin's value. Grading is another crucial aspect of the 1985 quarter's collectability. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins on a 70-point scale, with coins in mint state 65 or higher being especially desirable. Brilliant uncirculated coins with no signs of wear, sharp strikes, and original luster are sought after by enthusiasts, while coins with scratches, bag marks, or discoloration are considered lower grade and less valuable. As we continue this journey through the history of the 1985 Washington quarter, we encounter the human stories behind the coinage, the mint workers who operated the presses, the engravers who crafted the designs, the inspectors who ensured quality control, and the countless Americans who used these coins in daily life. Each quarter carries a trace of these individuals, a small artifact of a vast national enterprise. We must also consider the international dimension of American coinage. In the 1980s, the US dollar was a dominant force in global finance, and the confidence in the currency was reflected in the strength of its coinage. The Washington quarter was part of this broader system, representing not just domestic transactions, but the trustworthiness and stability of the United States on the world stage. For a 2-hour exploration, we can dive even deeper into the economic factors affecting coin production during the 1980s, including the fluctuating price of metals, the advances in minting technology such as computer-aided die production, and laser engraving, the security features incorporated into coins to prevent counterfeiting, and the broader historical comparisons between the 1985 quarter and earlier or later issues. We can also explore the collecting community itself, the network of numismatists, coin shows, auctions, and publications that track the value and interest in coins like the 1985 quarter, the role of major grading services, the emergence of online marketplaces, and the shift from local coin clubs to global collector networks. These elements shape how coins are valued, appreciated, and preserved for future generations. In the end, the 1985 Washington quarter is much more than 25 cents. It is a miniature work of art, a piece of national history, and a reflection of the era in which it was made. By understanding its origins, composition, design, context, and the many human and economic factors surrounding it, we gain a richer appreciation for the everyday objects that quietly shape our lives. So stay tuned as we unfold even more layers of this remarkable coin, exploring mint records, collector insights, die varieties, historical connections, and the fascinating journey of the Washington quarter across decades of American life. From the minting presses to your pocket to the collector's cabinet, the story of the 1985 quarter is one worth telling in full depth and detail. Welcome back once again to Rare American Coins, where every coin has a story and every story reveals the enduring spirit of America. Today, we are going to take an extensive and professional look at one of the most iconic and celebrated pieces in modern American numismatics, the 1976 half-dollar coin, also known as the bicentennial half-dollar. This coin was more than just currency, it was a symbol of national pride, commemorating the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence and representing a turning point in American history and American coin design. The 1976 half-dollar was released during a time of great patriotic celebration and national reflection, with millions of Americans participating in the bicentennial events held all over the country. The United States Mint joined in by issuing specially designed quarters, half-dollars, and dollar coins bearing the dual date 1776 to 1976, making them immediately distinguishable from regular issue coins and sparking excitement across the numismatic community. The coin we are discussing today, the Kennedy half-dollar, was already a popular and emotionally charged denomination, having been introduced just a few years earlier in 1964 in honor of the late President John F. Kennedy. After his assassination in 1963, the half-dollar quickly became a symbol of remembrance and tribute to a beloved American leader. But with the bicentennial celebration approaching, the mint saw an opportunity to not only mark the occasion, but also reimagine these coins in a way that would be both collectible and educational. The 1976 Kennedy half-dollar featured a unique reverse design unlike any other half-dollar that had come before. It was the first time since 1892 that circulating coinage in the United States featured commemorative designs on such a large scale. The obverse, or front, of the coin still bore the familiar left-facing portrait of John F. Kennedy designed by Gilroy Roberts, but the reverse was redesigned by Seth G. Huntington, who submitted his artwork as part of a national competition held by the Treasury Department. The winning design by Huntington depicts Independence Hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the very site where both the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution were debated and adopted. The design is surrounded by inscriptions that include United States of America half-dollar, 200 years of freedom, and of course the dual date 1776 to 1976. Independence Hall is shown from a frontal angle capturing the Georgian architectural beauty of the historic building, complete with its central steeple and clock tower. The design was intended to evoke a sense of unity, liberty, and historical continuity, reminding Americans of the foundation on which the nation was built. The bicentennial half-dollar was struck in two main compositions for circulation and collector purposes. The regular circulation version was composed of a copper nickel clad with an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This was the standard metal composition for half-dollars after the elimination of 90% silver coinage in 1970. However, for collectors, the mint also produced special 40% silver-clad versions of the bicentennial half-dollar. These were sold in uncirculated and proof sets and were available only through official U.S. mint offerings, making them especially desirable to collectors seeking precious metal content and higher quality strikes. These special collector issues were minted at the San Francisco Mint and bore the S Mint mark on the obverse side. The regular circulation strikes came from the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with the latter marked by a small D-mint mark. Just below Kennedy's neck, the bicentennial coins were produced in such vast numbers that they remained in circulation for years to come, and even today are commonly found in rolls of half-dollars from banks, although most are well-worn and show signs of heavy use. The total mintage for the 1976 bicentennial half-dollar exceeded 500 million coins across all types and mints, with Philadelphia and Denver leading the way in quantity. The special silver-clad versions had much lower mintage figures, making them scarcer and more valuable in high grades. To understand the full context of the 1976 half-dollar, we must go back to the political and cultural atmosphere of the early 1970s, when the American public was dealing with the aftermath of the Vietnam War, the Watergate scandal, and a general sense of disillusionment with national institutions. The bicentennial celebration offered a unifying moment, a chance for Americans to come together and reconnect with their founding ideals. It was during this environment that the bicentennial coin program was proposed. As early as 1971, legislation was introduced in Congress to approve the temporary redesign of the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins. This proposal marked a significant moment in U.S. mint history, because the Treasury Department had long resisted calls for frequent changes in coin designs, fearing it would undermine the stability and recognizability of American currency. Nonetheless, Congress authorized the redesign, and in 1973 the mint began accepting design submissions from the public and professional artists alike. The design competition was overseen by the National Sculpture Society and the Commission of Fine Arts, which worked together to evaluate hundreds of entries for each denomination. The Kennedy $50 reverse design was one of 3 chosen out of thousands, and its symbolism resonated deeply with the American people as it highlighted not only Independence Hall, but also the broader themes of American independence history and architectural heritage. Once production began, the bicentennial coins were struck in 1975 and 1976. But all of them bear the dual date 1776 to 1976, meaning that no Kennedy $50 dated 1975 were ever issued. This makes them easy to identify and adds to their mystique as special issues. The decision to omit the 1975 date was intentional, emphasizing that these were not ordinary coins, but commemorative issues meant to mark a unique event in American history. Over the years, collectors have shown great interest in these coins not only because of their historical significance, but also due to the many varieties and errors that exist. Some of the most valuable 1976 $50 include coins with full bell lines, strong details, deep cameo proofs, and rare die varieties, including doubled dies and striking anomalies. The silver versions in particular are highly sought after, especially in pristine condition, certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. The bicentennial $50 has also found its way into popular culture, appearing in television shows, documentaries, and educational exhibits about the nation's founding. Its design has been praised for its clarity, balance, and symbolic strength, and it remains one of the few American coins that combines numismatic appeal with educational value. Beyond its collectible nature, the 1976 $50 also represents a moment in time when Americans paused to consider their collective journey as a nation, reflecting on 2 centuries of freedom, conflict, innovation, and struggle. The coin is both a mirror and a monument, capturing the spirit of 1776 while standing firmly in the context of 1976 and offering future generations a tangible link to the past. As we examine each aspect of this coin, from its artistic elements to its mintage records, from its role in numismatic history to its broader cultural relevance, we gain a deeper appreciation for how even a small object like a coin can carry immense meaning and historical depth for collectors, historians, educators, and patriots alike. The 1976 Kennedy bicentennial $50 remains a treasured artifact and a timeless reminder of the values that shaped a nation. But when you examine the details, explore the history, and understand the context of minting, you will see why 1999 Lincoln pennies have become a point of interest for collectors, historians, and numismatists across the world. To understand the significance of the 1999 Lincoln penny, we must go back to the beginning of the Lincoln cent, itself a coin that was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln penny was the first circulating U.S. coin to feature a real person and not a symbolic image. This was a revolutionary step in American numismatics. Up to that point, U.S. coins featured allegorical representations such as liberty and various classical figures, but President Theodore Roosevelt wanted to modernize U.S. coinage, and Lincoln was chosen to represent the nation's ideals of unity, justice, and leadership. The original 1909 design included the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and of wheat ears on the reverse. This wheat cent, as it came to be known, was minted until 1958, when the reverse was redesigned to feature the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. A change that marked the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The Lincoln Memorial reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, was used from 1959 through 2008, and that brings us to the era of the 1999 Lincoln penny, which continues this classic memorial design right before the dramatic redesign of 2009 that would include a series of 4 commemorative reverses celebrating Lincoln's bicentennial. The 1999 Lincoln penny was part of this long-running memorial series, but what makes it special is a combination of historical context, mintage numbers, minting errors, and the gradual transition to more modern minting processes that started to take shape around the turn of the millennium. The 1999 Lincoln cents were produced into main minting facilities, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, both of which issued billions of pennies that year, but not all 1999 pennies are created equal, and in this video we will uncover the various known varieties, their mint marks, physical characteristics, die varieties, doubled dies, and other numismatic curiosities. First, let's look at the specifications of the 1999 Lincoln penny. The coin is made of a core of 99.2% zinc with a plating of 0.8% copper. It weighs 2.5 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a plain edge. The obverse still features the famous profile of Abraham Lincoln facing right with the inscriptions "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1999, along with the mint mark D for Denver or no mark for Philadelphia on the reverse. The Lincoln Memorial is centered, flanked by the inscriptions United States of America and 1 cent with the Latin motto E pluribus unum placed above the memorial. The total mintage for the 1999 Lincoln cents was extraordinarily high, reflecting the demand and usage of the 1 cent denomination in commerce. At the time, the Philadelphia Mint struck approximately 5.2 billion coins, while the Denver Mint produced over 6.3 billion coins, making a combined total of more than 11.5 billion coins in circulation. Despite this high mintage, collectors have found a number of interesting varieties and error coins that can dramatically increase the value of individual specimens. One of the most notable varieties from 1999 is the wide AM reverse type. This variety occurs when the spacing between the A and M in America on the reverse of the coin is wider than on the typical version. This is the result of using a reverse die intended for proof coins on circulation strikes. The wide AM variety is most famously known for the 1998, 1999, and 2000 Philadelphia struck cents. The standard business strike cents in those years should have a close AM where the letters A and M are almost touching, but in a few cases the wide AM was used accidentally, creating a valuable variety. The 1999 wide AM penny is considered rare and collectible, especially in high grades. In contrast, the close AM type is the expected and common design for circulation coins. The difference between wide and close AM varieties might seem small, but it has a big impact on value. Collectors often need magnification and precise references to tell them apart, and coin grading services authenticate and certify these differences because of their significance in the numismatic community. Another key area of interest for 1999 Lincoln pennies is mint errors. These are coins that were misstruck due to mechanical or human error during the minting process, and they include off-center strikes, double strikes, clipped plankets, broad strikes, and die breaks such as cut errors. There are also double die varieties where parts of the design appear to be duplicated due to a misalignment in the die hubbing process. Although no major double die obverse varieties have been officially recognized for 1999 Lincoln cents, minor examples do exist and are sought by specialists in error coinage. Let's also talk about proof coins in 1999. The U.S. Mint produced proof Lincoln cents at the San Francisco Mint with the S Mint mark. These coins were struck using specially prepared dies and polished blanks, resulting in mirror-like surfaces and frosted devices. They were intended for collectors and not for general circulation. The 1999 S proof cent was included in proof sets and silver proof sets and is easily distinguished by its high-quality finish, although these proof coins were made in large enough numbers to be common in the collector market. They offer insight into the mint's craftsmanship and are sometimes involved in the mix-ups that cause the wide AM varieties in circulation coins. Grading is another essential element of understanding the value of 1999 Lincoln cents. Circulated coins can show significant wear, reducing their appeal to Collectors but uncirculated specimens in mint state, especially those grading MS65 or higher, can command higher prices, particularly if they are error coins or varieties like the wide AM coin certified by professional grading. Services like PCGS or NGC often attract more buyers due to the trust in their authenticity and condition ratings. Some 1999 wide AM cents in MS67 red condition have sold for hundreds of dollars at auction. Now let's place the 1999 Lincoln penny in historical and cultural context. The year 1999 was a time of technological advancement, anticipation, and change. It marked the end of the 20th century and the approach of the Y2K moment, when the world was both excited and anxious about the year 2000. The economy was booming, with the dot-com bubble nearing its peak and the internet changing everyday life. The Lincoln cent minted during this transitional time carries the spirit of continuity. It was one of the last in the long-running Memorial Reverse series before the dramatic redesign of 2009 to celebrate Lincoln's 200th birthday. In the collecting world, Lincoln cents remain one of the most popular and accessible series for collectors of all ages and experience levels. Beginning collectors can easily start with modern coins like the 1999 issues, while more advanced collectors focus on finding high-grade specimens, certified coins, and rare varieties like the 1999 wide AM. The appeal lies in the ability to build a nearly complete set with minimal cost while still having the potential for major discoveries in pocket change or rolls searched from banks. For those interested in roll hunting, coin shows, or estate sales, the 1999 Lincoln penny offers real treasure hunting potential. It is still possible to find wide AM varieties in circulation, although it is becoming less likely each year as collectors remove them from the wild. Coins with mint errors and high-grade luster are also still found, especially in original bank-wrapped rolls or old collections that haven't been searched for varieties. To wrap up, the 1999 Lincoln penny is much more than a copper-colored coin. It represents a century of American coinage tradition. It captures a moment of transition from one century to another. It holds hidden value through rare varieties and mint errors, and it continues to inspire curiosity, learning, and discovery in the numismatic world. As always, thank you for joining me on this deep and detailed journey into the history and mystery of rare American coins. Stay tuned as we continue to uncover the hidden stories behind everyday change and bring light to the coins that carry history in your pocket. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another rare coin episode right here on Rare American Coins. Numismatists for decades, this isn't just any ordinary coin. This is a coin with a story that begins long before 1980 and stretches through American politics, economics, art, and the very identity of the United States Mint. So sit back and get ready, because for the next 2 hours we're going on a journey through time, metal design, policy, and value as we unlock everything you need to know about the 1981 dime coin. To understand the full history of the 1981 dime, we first have to go back to the birth of the American dime itself. The United States dime as a denomination was authorized by the Coinage Act of 1792, which also created the U.S. Mint and established the decimal-based monetary system. The term dime comes from the Latin word decimus, meaning 1/10. Because it represents 1/10 of a dollar. The first dimes were struck in 1796, featuring the draped bust design by engraver Robert Scott. And ever since then, the dime has gone through several major transformations in both design and composition. By the time we arrive at the 1981 dime coin, we are dealing with what is known as the Roosevelt dime. This design was first introduced in 1946, just months after the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. to honor his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, as well as his association with the March of Dimes campaign, which aimed to fight Polio Roosevelt's portrait on the obverse of the coin was created by U.S. Mint chief engraver John Arsenic, whose initials JS can be seen at the base of the bust. This dime replaced the earlier winged Liberty head design, often mistakenly called the Mercury dime. From 1946 until 1960, for Roosevelt dimes were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. But after the Coinage Act of 1965, signed by President Lyndon B. Johnson, the dime was changed to a clad composition due to the rising cost of silver and increasing demand for coinage in commerce. The new dimes consisted of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This clad composition continued into the 1980s and is the metal formula used for the 1980 one dime coin. Now let's focus on the year 1980 specifically and explore the historical background that shaped this coin. In 1980, America was in a time of great transition. It was the final full year of 1980 America was in a time of great transition. It was the final full year of Jimmy Carter's presidency. The nation was facing economic turbulence, including high inflation, rising interest rates, and global energy uncertainty. It was also the year of a major presidential election that saw Ronald Reagan defeat Carter and usher in a new political era. This national mood of uncertainty and change reflected a society clinging to traditions while adjusting to new realities. And in some subtle way, even the dime produced during this year captured a snapshot of that transformation. The 1981 dime coin was struck at 3 different U.S. Mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each producing coins with distinct purposes and mint marks. Coins struck in Philadelphia bear no mint mark, which was the standard practice at the time for circulating coins. Although this changed in 1980 as the Philadelphia Mint began using the P Mint mark on certain coins, starting with the Susan B. Anthony dollar coins struck in Denver feature a D Mint mark, and those struck in San Francisco have an S Mint mark and were primarily proof coins intended for collectors rather than general circulation. The business strike dimes from 1980 made at the Philadelphia and Denver mints were produced in huge quantities, with over 735 million struck in Philadelphia and more than 518 million in Denver, making the 1980 dime a common coin in terms of mintage. Yet not all of these coins are the same, and this is where rarity and collector interest come into play. Among the 1980 dimes, there are a few that stand out due to mint errors, varieties, and high-grade condition coins. For example, coins that were struck off-center, double-struck, or struck on defective plankets can be worth significantly more than face value, especially if they are graded and certified by a third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC. There are also high-grade examples of the 1980 dime that have sold for premium prices in the collector market. A coin graded MS 6-7 or higher with full bands or full torch details, indicating a sharp strike, can be quite rare and desirable. Full bands refer to the horizontal lines on the torch in the reverse design, which are often not fully struck due to die wear or misalignment. The presence of full bands or full torch details increases a coin's value because it shows it was struck with fresh dies and preserved in pristine condition. Now let's talk about the reverse design, which features a torch flanked by an olive branch on the left and an oak branch on the right, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. This design, also created by John Arsenic, has remained largely unchanged since 1946 and has become one of the most enduring and recognizable reverse designs in American coinage history. The simplicity and symbolism of the reverse reflect both the values of post-war America and the artistic restraint that characterized mid 20th century U.S. coin design. The production process for the 1980 dime was also part of a larger trend in U.S. mint operations. During the late 20th century, the mint was expanding its use of high-speed presses, advanced die technology, and improved quality control measures. Even though the 1980s were not a peak era for collecting clad coins, some numismatists were already recognizing the importance of building full-date and mint-mark sets in high grades, which is why 1980 dimes with minimal wear, good luster, and clear strike details began to grow in demand over time. Another key aspect of the 1980 dime is its cultural and economic context. By 1980, the U.S. was still adjusting to a world where coins no longer contained silver, and where inflation had eroded the purchasing power of small denominations. Many Americans had begun to overlook the dime as a coin of value, yet the dime remained essential for everyday transactions. Vending machines, toll booths, parking meters, and transit fares continued to depend on this denomination, making it one of the most circulated coins in the U.S. economy and ensuring its continued relevance despite the changes in monetary policy. As we continue to explore the 1980 dime, we can also look at its role in broader collecting trends. The 1980s saw a rise in coin albums, proof sets, and uncirculated mint sets from the U.S. Mint, which encouraged a new generation of collectors to preserve coins from circulation. Many of these collectors began saving one-dime coins from each year, creating full-date runs and searching for varieties. This growing interest helped fuel demand for error coins, mint state examples, and other special versions of the 1980 dime. Another factor that adds depth to the 1981 dime story is the numismatic market itself. Throughout the 1990s and into the 2000s, the market for high-grade clad dimes, especially Roosevelt dimes, began to mature. Coin grading companies added population reports, online auction houses began recording realized prices, and collectors could now compare coins more easily than ever before. As a result, coins like the 1980 Roosevelt dime began to be seen not just as pocket change, but as valuable historical artifacts with individual market potential based on condition, strike, and rarity. In conclusion, the 1981 dime coin is more than just a 10-cent piece. It's a snapshot of American history, a reflection of economic policy, a tribute to a wartime president, and a cornerstone of modern numismatics. It's a coin that bridges the Silver Age of U.S. coinage and the clad era that followed. It's a coin that continues to circulate in millions, yet holds secrets for those who look closer. Whether you're searching for mint errors, collecting by year and mint mark, or simply fascinated by the story behind your spare change, the 1981 dime coin offers a rich experience that combines history, economics, art, and the spirit of discovery. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the 1980 Roosevelt dime, I hope you walk away with a greater appreciation for the coin in your pocket and the story it tells. Thank you for watching this video on rare American coins. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share as we continue to explore the hidden treasures of United States coinage, one coin at a time. Only monetary value, but immense historical significance and intricate layers of production design, rarity, and cultural impact that have earned it a cherished place in the hearts of collectors all around the world. To understand the story of the 1972 $1 coin, we must go back in time to the early 1970s, when the United States Mint was transitioning out of the silver coinage era and into the world of copper-nickel clad coinage following the Coinage Act of 1965, which removed silver from most circulating coins due to rising silver prices. The dollar coin was in flux, and the Eisenhower dollar was introduced in 1971 as the first $1 coin since the peace dollar was discontinued in 1935. The Eisenhower dollar was named after Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States, who was also the Supreme Allied Commander in World War II and a central figure in American and global history. The decision to honor him on the $1 coin was not just a tribute to a former president, but a symbol of post-war strength and national pride, and the 1972 issue stands out as a unique year in that series. Due to a number of striking variations and minting anomalies, the 1972 Eisenhower dollar was minted at 3 facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But what makes this year especially significant are the 3 distinct varieties of the Philadelphia issue known as Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3, each featuring differences in the design of the Earth that appears behind the eagle on the reverse of the coin, which was adapted from the Apollo 11 mission insignia. This design honored both President Eisenhower and the United States space program, capturing the spirit of exploration and ambition that defined the American mindset in the late 1960s and early 1970s. The Type 1 variety of the 1972 Eisenhower dollar shows a globe with high relief and low detail. The continents are vaguely outlined, and it is the most common among the 3. The Type 2, however, is the rarest and most sought after by collectors due to its very low mintage and distinct flat Earth design. With almost no recognizable land masses, it was only struck for a short time before the mint corrected the die and began producing the more refined Type 3 variety, which has more sharply defined continents and became the standard for the remainder of the year. The existence of these 3 types has fascinated collectors for decades, not only because of their rarity, but because they highlight the challenges faced by the mint in producing large copper-nickel coins with consistent detail and clarity. During this period, the mint was still perfecting the process of minting large clad coins, which tended to strike inconsistently due to the hardness of the alloy and the vast surface area of the coin, resulting in flat strikes, die wear, and frequent need for die replacement, which inadvertently led to the creation of the type varieties. Beyond the Philadelphia issues, the Denver Mint produced a large number of 1972 Eisenhower dollars, distinguished by a D mint mark and known for being better struck overall due to improvements in die maintenance and production flow. However, the Denver coins did not have the reverse variety issues seen at the Philadelphia Mint and are considered more uniform in design and quality. Nonetheless, high-grade examples with full luster and no contact marks are still prized by collectors today. Meanwhile, the San Francisco Mint produced the 1972 Eisenhower dollar in both proof and uncirculated formats. The proof coins were struck with highly polished dies and plankets, resulting in a mirrored finish and sharp detail. These coins were not released into circulation and were sold directly to collectors. The uncirculated 1972 S coins were also struck with more care than circulation coins and packaged in blue envelopes known as blue ikes. The proofs were sold in brown boxes and are referred to as brown ikes. The San Francisco issues often carry a premium in the market, especially when graded at high levels by professional coin grading services. To better appreciate the historical significance of the 1972 $1 coin, it is important to understand the role the Eisenhower dollar played in the broader cultural and economic context of the time. It was introduced in an era of high inflation, a growing distrust of paper money, and the eventual decoupling of the U.S. dollar from the gold standard under President Nixon in 1971, all of which contributed to renewed interest in hard money and coinage as a symbol of national economic strength. The Eisenhower dollar was also a tribute to American technological achievement, coming on the heels of the Apollo moon landings and featuring a reverse design that honored the space program. The combination of President Eisenhower and the moon landing motif made the coin a dual tribute to military and scientific accomplishment. Unlike previous dollar coins, it was large, heavy, and not widely used in everyday commerce, partly due to its size and weight, which made it unpopular for vending machines and consumer transactions, but beloved by collectors and used extensively in casinos, especially in Las Vegas, where the Eisenhower dollar became the standard coin for slot machines until it was replaced by the smaller and more practical Susan B. Anthony dollar in 1979. Over time, the 1972 Eisenhower dollar, especially the rare type to variety, has become one of the most studied coins in modern U.S. numismatics and has been the subject of detailed dice studies, collector guides, and grading challenges. Collectors seek out examples with sharp strikes, minimal contact marks, and full luster, while also paying close attention to the reverse type and mint mark errors, and varieties such as double dies, off-center strikes, planchette flaws, and struck-through errors are all present in the 1972 series and can greatly affect value. For example, a 1972 Type 2 in mint state 65 or higher can command hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on its eye appeal and pedigree, while most common Type 1 and Type 3 coins in circulated condition trade at modest premiums above face value. Certified coins by PCGS or NGC can provide added value and security for buyers and sellers alike, and many collectors focus on assembling full sets of all three types in both circulated and uncirculated conditions. The story of the 1972 $1 coin is not just about metal and minting, it is about an era of American pride, exploration, change, and resilience. It is a story that connects the past with the present, linking the memory of a great president with the boldness of a generation that reached for the moon and found new meaning in the stars. It is a coin that represents a bridge between generations of coinage and an enduring symbol of American craftsmanship and idealism. As we dive even deeper into the nuances of the 1972 Eisenhower dollar over the course of this video, we will explore the exact minting process for each variety, how the dies were created and changed during the year, what distinguishes a Type 2 from the other types under magnification, how grading affects value, and how you can spot a valuable Eisenhower dollar in your own collection or pocket change. We will also look at the packaging used for collector issues, how to authenticate rare varieties, what mistakes to avoid when buying or selling, and how to build a complete set of Eisenhower dollars with confidence. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or just getting started, there is something powerful and inspiring about learning the true story behind a coin like the 1972 $1, and I am excited to share every detail with you today. So grab your loop, get comfortable, and let us explore every aspect of the 1972 $1 coin, from historical context to modern value, from minting techniques to collector insights. And by the end of this video, you will not only know the full story of this incredible coin, but you will also be one step closer to becoming a true expert in the world of rare American coins. The rare coins of American history. This video is crafted for those who appreciate not just the value of coins, but the incredible stories behind them, from their design, origins to the hidden rarities that lie unnoticed in ordinary pockets and collections. The Jefferson nickel is more than just a 5-cent piece. It is a living legacy of American art, culture, and economy. Let us begin by traveling back to the early 1930s, when the United States was still recovering from the devastating impact of the Great Depression. During this time, the Buffalo nickel had been in circulation since 1913, but the mint began seeking a new design that would honor the legacy of one of America's most beloved founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, principal author of the Declaration of Independence, and a man whose vision for liberty and knowledge shaped the future of the country. The Treasury Department officially authorized the redesign of the nickel in 1938, holding a competition for American sculptors and artists to submit their interpretations of Jefferson's portrait and his historic home, Monticello. The winning design was submitted by Felix Schlag, a German-American sculptor whose submission featured a dignified profile of Jefferson on the obverse and a neoclassical view of Monticello on the reverse. Production of the Jefferson nickel began in late 1938 at the Philadelphia Mint, with additional strikes coming from the Denver and San Francisco mints. As years progressed, this 5-cent coin quickly became a staple in American commerce, but beyond Its common appearance lies a treasure trove of rare varieties, errors, and special minting issues that would become prized by collectors across generations from the war years of the 1940s, when silver was used instead of nickel to support the wartime economy, to the double dies, mint mark anomalies, and low mintage key dates. Each Jefferson nickel has a potential story to tell. The wartime nickels minted from 1942 to 1945 represent a critical chapter in American coinage history. During these years, the composition was altered to include 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. Because nickel was considered a critical metal for the war effort, these wartime nickels can be identified by the large mint mark placed above Monticello on the reverse, which includes the P for Philadelphia for the first time ever, as well as D and S for Denver and San Francisco, respectively. Among these, the 1943 over to P and 1945 P double die reverse varieties stand out as major rarities, commanding high interest and strong premiums in the numismatic market. Continuing into the post-war years, the Jefferson nickel saw minimal changes in design, but dramatic differences in mintage and quality, which led to the emergence of certain key dates, such as the 1950D, which had the lowest mintage of any regular Jefferson nickel, with just 2.6 million coins struck, making it a well-known semi-key in the series. Another standout example is the 1939D reverse of 1940, which combines a scarce mint mark with a transitional design and is highly sought after by advanced collectors. Similarly, the 1949 D over S and 1950 for S over D mint mark varieties represent minting errors that have become numismatic legends. As we move through the decades, the 1960s and 70s brought further shifts in mintage numbers, with the U.S. Mint eventually removing mint marks from coins during the years 1965 to 1967 as part of a broader campaign to reduce coin hoarding. In response to the coin shortage of the era, these so-called no mint mark nickels are common, but they contribute to the broader story of how national events shaped the production and distribution of everyday coins. By the late 1970s and 1980s, the U.S. Mint began to improve quality control, but even still, die varieties and striking errors persisted, including off-center strikes, clipped plankets, and repunched mint marks. The Jefferson nickel underwent a major design revision in 2004 and 2005 to commemorate the bicentennial of the Lewis and Clark expedition, which was commissioned by President Jefferson himself. This led to the creation of the Westward Journey nickel series, which included multiple reverse designs such as the Peace Metal Keelboat American Bison and Ocean in View designs. In 2006, the Mint introduced a completely new forward-facing portrait of Jefferson designed by Jamie Franke, along with a more detailed Monticello reverse design that remains in use today. Despite its redesign, the classic pre-2006 Jefferson nickels have remained a cornerstone of American coin collecting, particularly for those who specialize in circulated coinage, silver era coinage, and error varieties. Collectors continue to search for the full steps designation on the reverse, which indicates a sharply struck Monticello with clearly defined steps, a sign of exceptional quality that is difficult to find, especially in older coins. Grading agencies such as PCGs and NGC have developed a full grading scale for Jefferson nickels with high-grade full steps examples commanding premium prices even for more common dates. Beyond physical characteristics, the Jefferson nickel also carries historical and cultural importance as a representation of democratic ideals, scientific inquiry, and American independence values that Jefferson himself championed during his lifetime. His inclusion on the nickel was not accidental, but a deliberate tribute to a man whose mind and influence helped shape the foundations of the Republic, from his authorship of the Declaration of Independence to the Louisiana Purchase and the founding of the University of Virginia. Jefferson's legacy continues to resonate in this coin series. Collectors of Jefferson nickels often approach the series in various ways. Some aim to complete a full date and mint mark set spanning from 1938 to present. Others focus on silver wartime issues, full steps examples, or rare error coins. While some even specialize in proof issues, which began in 1938 and continue today, offering mirrored finishes and striking details that showcase the artistry of the designs. Regardless of collecting focus, the Jefferson nickel remains an ideal entry point for beginner collectors as well as a deep and rewarding challenge for advanced numismatists. Rare finds within this series continue to be discovered to this day. Coin roll hunters, estate sale pickers, and metal detectorists all report exciting finds such as the 1939 double Monticello, the 1943 over 2 error, the 1949 S over D, and the elusive full steps examples from the 1960s, which are extremely difficult to locate in high grade. The joy of finding a rare Jefferson nickel lies in the knowledge that a small 5-cent coin can carry a story of national history, wartime sacrifice, minting craftsmanship, and artistic evolution. As we wrap up this historical deep dive, I want to remind you that the world of American coin collecting is vast and full of surprises, and this channel, Rare American Coins Jefferson Nickels Coins, is your destination for discovering the hidden gems, the forgotten stories, and the untold mysteries behind coins that many people overlook. If you enjoy long-format educational videos and passionate storytelling about numismatic treasures, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because there is so much more to explore. In the coming weeks, we will be diving into other American coins that shaped history, including Lincoln cents, Buffalo nickels, Mercury dimes, and more. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the world of the Jefferson nickel. Its legacy continues to inspire and captivate collectors around the world, and I am honored to share that story with you here on Rare American Coins Jefferson Nickels Coins.